I am Ben Curtis, I'm the Head of Editorial Performance at the Telegraph and I am 35 years old. Like any wannabe journalists, I started very young. I would make newspapers for my mum and dad at 7 years old. I ended up doing a paper round for 5 years. I studied history and journalism at university. I became the sports editor at London student newspaper, which at the time was Europe's largest student newspaper. So I always wanted to be a journalist. The slight issue was I graduated into the financial crisis, so jobs were not freely available. But this is where the healthy dose of luck comes in. I used to write for a Gillingham fan website and the chap that ran it worked at the Daily Mirror, and they were looking to increase their digital presence, primarily through live blogging sporting events. I did a shift or two, and when I got that opportunity, I didn't let go. Irrespective, I live blogged the Japanese Grand Prix and stayed in a Deptford hostel to walk into Canary Wharf at 5 AM to live blog that Formula One race. So when the opportunity came, I didn't let go, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't feel privileged to be doing what I do now. I've always been passionate about numbers, and I've tried to use that in what I do, try and question why something worked and why it didn't. And the company wanted someone to do that a bit wider, not just on sport, but across the newsroom as well. And that's how the head of editorial performance role came about at the Telegraph. Someone who was going to sit there and analyse the numbers, analyse the reader data that we're getting in to ensure that we're making the right publishing, commissioning and writing decisions. My day looks very early, frankly, or starts very early, at least 6:30 in the morning. I get in, I study 5 to 10 reports a day that come in overnight, and ultimately this is really important because the data loses relevancy as the hours go on. The previous day moves on to the next day. So I like to get in early and analyse what worked and what didn't and why. We relay that to senior editors in the newsroom at an early conference at 8:30 in the morning. Then I send an email later in the morning going a bit deeper into those points to relay what we've learned, why it worked, why it didn't, so that hopefully for the rest of the day, the week, the month, the year, we're making better decisions to ensure that what we are publishing is being well read and is of relevance to our subscribers and to readers who want to become subscribers. Data is absolutely essential. You need to know a reader better than ever before. Readers come from all over the world. Again, in a digital world, it's not a guarantee that people will come to us every day. So not only are we looking to get to know the reader through data, but also seeing how we can get readers coming back, but then the added complexity of getting them paying as well, and offering up and publishing pieces that ultimately are worth paying for. We've added far more platforms. We have podcasts now in a way that we didn't years ago. That's another platform for which our journalism flourishes. But all of that needs measuring. What is the optimum length of time for? What time does it go out? How do we convert some of these readers into subscribers? It is very complicated. So I see the future getting trickier. I think data will help us guide us in that direction. What inspires me most in my job is my colleagues. They are immensely talented and they encourage me to raise my game. No one settles for how we do things now to be the way. There is a constant pursuit of better, whether that's the line of a story, whether that's the way we're publishing something, whether that's the way we're commissioning or promoting an article. They really are pushing at the boundaries of what's achievable. The future of news for me is secure. I don't have any fears that we're going to find a time where news isn't relevant. We're all curious about what's going on, what's really going on our own doorstep, whether it's a news event across the world, whether it's politics or sport. We all have a curiosity, so I don't have any fears in that regard. In 10 years' time, I see myself hopefully still in the industry for a number of reasons, not only personal, but it's only going to survive through experimentation, and I hope to be still delivering insight and looking at data forms to try and find ways of measuring that success. If someone approached me about being asked what they need to do to get into journalism, I think there are many traits they need to have. First, curiosity, being able to question anything that is put in front of them. A story, a conversation, a number is absolutely essential. Having a natural curiosity for a skepticism as to what you're seeing is absolutely essential. Work ethic is important, 24 hours a day, 7-day a week industry, so you really have to want to be a part of this. A willingness to learn is really important. The newsroom is full of people of various experiences and interests with lots of knowledge, and being able to sponge that information is really incredibly important. Also, I'd encourage people to embrace their point of difference. What I found in the last few years is that it's people with different experiences in life who are able to offer a completely different perspective. Journalism matters to me because it's an essential part of a functioning society. We've seen that in the last few years. We've seen a Prime Minister and a Chancellor of the Exchequer being fined by police. Would that have happened without journalism? I'm not so sure. We've sent reporters to the front line telling the stories of the people in Ukraine and what's truly going on in that country. And that's why journalism is important. It holds power to account and it provides the truth.